So, hi everyone, welcome to another Zoom meeting and another podcast episode. If you're listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube, you can find out more about the podcast, the online community, how to get involved with our meetings here, and paid private mentoring with myself if it interests you on the website. And that's www.acimwithkeith.com. So, let's get on with things. Again, lots of people had aha moments last week around forgiveness, which is really good. And we want to try and keep bringing the ball home. We really want to latch into this forgiveness business. It's the simplest thing in the world, but the mind loves to complicate it.
Hello?
Okay, just mute everyone again there. Someone jumped in. Right. We have 105 participants with us at the moment. So welcome to everyone. Right. Let's take a quote from A Course in Miracles. A dream of judgment came into the mind that God created perfect as himself. And in that dream was heaven changed to hell, and God made enemy unto his son. How can God's son awaken from the dream? It is a dream of judgment. So must he judge not, and he will awaken. For the dream will seem to last while he is part of it. So must he judge not, and he will awaken. This is A Course in Miracles. It's a course in awakening. How do you awaken? You don't judge, and you'll awaken. That's what A Course in Miracles is about. That's how simple it is. But the mind ties us in knots about the whole thing, overly complicates it, makes it so difficult. And the ego keeps jumping in, wanting to be involved in the process of forgiveness and awakening, so it perpetuates itself. And it's so much more simple than anyone realizes. So much more simple. Let's take another quote. Now, let me just find the one I want. No, I haven't actually. I dug out a few before I started. Don't seem to have that one. Let me find it. Here's the one. This is from chapter 18, section 4, paragraph 7. It is this that makes the holy instant so easy and so natural. You make it difficult. Because you insist there must be more that you need to do. You find it difficult to accept the idea that you need give so little to receive so much. And it is very hard for you to realize it is not personally insulting that your contribution and the Holy Spirit's are so extremely disproportionate. Okay, here's the problem with forgiveness. Everyone's trying to do something. When I'm coaching my private clients, the one thing we have to return to again and again with forgiveness is, what's the first thing to remember? I need do nothing. But everyone dives into the flypaper. What's my forgiveness formula? How do I do it? Why is it not working? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Okay, flypaper. See, once that's where you're at, there's no forgiveness happening. There's no Holy Spirit in your mind, and there's no healing. Nothing is asked of us except one thing. Let's take another quote. Well, before we do, let's say it this way. Course in Miracles says, stop judging and you'll awaken. That's it. That's what A Course in Miracles is about. When you boil it all down, stop judging and you'll awaken. Now, here's the problem. You think the insane voice talking to itself in your mind, hating itself and hating everyone else, and seeking and resisting and striving, you think that's you. And so when you hear the Course say, it's a dream of judgment, so must he judge not, and he'll awaken, you're saying, oh, I, the insane voice talking to itself, need to sort out these judgments of mine. I need to get rid of these unholy thoughts, and I need to replace them with holier thoughts so I can be a holier insane voice talking to itself. And then I, the insane voice talking to itself, will awaken. No, you awaken from the idea that the insane voice talking to itself is you. That's what awakening is. But again, everyone's like, oh, I need to sort out my judgments. These judgments are bad. I shouldn't be doing this as a good course student. I need to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic here in my mind. I need to make it all holier. I need to be a holy ego. Everyone needs to see how fabulous I am. No, none of that's you. Our friend, lesson 93. The self you made is not the Son of God. Therefore, this self does not exist at all. It is neither bad nor good. It is unreal and nothing more than that. Nothing it thinks or does means anything at all. There you go. The self you think you are, that you're not, the insane voice talking to itself, having thoughts and opinions, and here's what I think of the course, here's what I think of forgiveness, and if I could just do it this way, that's not you. That doesn't exist. Lesson 52. I have no private thoughts, but it is only private thoughts of which I am aware. What can they mean? They do not exist, and they mean nothing. Nothing. Okay. But everyone thinks I, this insane voice talking to itself that doesn't exist, I need to sort my stuff out, need to start having better thoughts, need to stop having these awful thoughts. No, you need to realize that's not you. There is an ego thought system in your mind. It says God was murdered, non-duality is dead, separateness is real, I'm a separate self in a body, in the world, with a past, with a future, surrounded by assholes. That's your ego thought system right there. Okay? That's your ego thought system. And it doesn't exist. It's not real. You see? So everyone reads A Course in Miracles and they sit in the ego thought system of God is murdered, non-duality is dead, I'm a separate self, I have some bad thoughts and I have some good thoughts, need to sweep this around, need to save myself as the insane voice talking to itself, need to become a holier insane voice talking to itself. Okay. And then you see forgiveness, something comes along and somebody does something and all your guilt comes up and your anger and your, oh my God, it's awful. And then you go, oh, I better do a bit of forgiveness here. Now you are sitting in the midst of this big cloud of an ego thought system, and the whole thing is non-existent. It's not you, and it doesn't exist. But there you are sitting in this, and then you go, well, I know what this means. Okay. I know that's the problem. See that little bit of fear there in the midst of the ego thought system? I'd like the Holy Spirit to come into my big cloud of nonsense, made up ideas, false identity. I want the Holy Spirit to come in and just pluck that fear out so I can be much happier in my ego thought system that God is murdered, that non-duality is dead, that separateness is real, that I'm a separate self with a body, with problems, and surrounded by assholes. And the Holy Spirit is saying, no. Do you see that whole cloud? The whole thing is the problem. You're not a person. You're not a figure in your dream. And the only reason you think you are is because of that big cloud in your mind. And the whole thing is hurting you. The whole thing is hurting you. That you're a body with a story. That things in the world take away your peace. That you need things to change so you can be peaceful. That whole thing is a lie. The whole thing. We've talked many times about Helen when she's saying to the voice, could you take this like anxiety off me? It's a bit of an issue here with my anxiety. Could you take it off me? Could you get rid of it for me? And Jesus says, no, don't ask me to take away your fear. Ask me for help with the conditions that have brought the fear about. See, Helen is sitting in the big cloud of nonsense. Oh, I'm a person, I'm a woman, I have problems. People are assholes, can't believe it. I have to forgive them. Want to be a holy ego, really want to get back to heaven, but not quite sure how I do it. Got to get this forgiveness thing down. So she's sitting in the middle of that, going to Jesus, would you just take the fear out of this for me? Jesus is going, no, don't ask me to do that. Ask me for help with the conditions that have brought the fear about. What's the conditions that have brought the fear about? That you're sitting in an ego thought system that says God was murdered, non-duality is dead, separateness rules, you're a separate self in a world made to exclude God, and you have problems. None of that's true. You think you're a character in your dream. That's not true. You think you can be sick. That's not true. You think you can die. That's not true. You think you need the world to be a certain way so you can have peace. That's not true. You think the world can affect your peace. That's not true. See, I do not know what anything is for. The minute you think you know what anything is for, you think you're an ego. You're sitting in the big cloud of the ego thought system. And you're sitting there going, I know what this is for, and I know how I need to do forgiveness, because I need to save myself as the insane voice talking to itself, so this insane voice talking to itself can go back to heaven. But you are heaven. And the insane voice talking to itself doesn't exist. How could you return somewhere you've never left? What wants to return where nothing ever left cannot exist and doesn't. So time after time in the course, Jesus says the self you made doesn't exist. The insane voice talking to itself in your mind isn't real. It's not you, doesn't exist. That's what's hurting you. You think that's you. Every time a thought happens, you go, oh, I had this thought. No, you didn't. It's not you. Of Course in Miracles says that they're not your real thoughts. And when you think you're thinking them, your mind's actually blank because it's not really thinking about anything. But we've all started off as the insane voice talking to itself, going, oh my God, I got to sort out my judgments. Look what I just did. I'm so judgmental. Oh, right now I need to get rid of this judgment. Holy Spirit, take it off me, take it off me. Take it away, take it away. Okay. No, that's not going to work. That has to fail miserably. That has to fail miserably. Because that voice talking to itself, the mind that pretends to be you, is only judgment. It's all judgment. And it's all seeking and resisting, grievances and graspings, special love and special hate. But the problem is you think it's you. Oh, I have these bad thoughts. No, you don't. No, you don't. You think you do because you think the voice talking to itself in your mind, labeling everything and with an opinion on everything and judging everything. You think that's you. It's not. That's the only problem you have. That's it. That's why A Course in Miracles is really easy. If you stop judging, you'll awaken. What will you awaken from? Thinking you are the insane voice talking to itself in your mind. But everyone's trying to be a holy, insane voice talking to itself. A spiritualized, insane voice talking to itself. The voice that's talking to itself in your mind, that thinks it knows what everything is for, that's the ego. But everyone is misidentified as the insane voice talking to itself in their mind. And they're going, I, the insane voice, need to choose between the ego and the Holy Spirit. No, that is the ego. That's the trap. That's the trap. So, this is a dream. You are asleep in God, dreaming of exile, and perfectly capable of awakening. Okay, so nothing in the dream is true. Nothing in the dream is true. You know, if you have a dream tonight, you're in your bed and you have a dream and you're on the farm and the chickens are clucking and the cows are mooing and the horses are galloping in and the sun is shining and the clouds are rolling across the sky and suddenly you're run over by a tractor. Does that have any effect on the person in the bed? No. Why? Because the person in the bed isn't in the dream. There's a fake person in the dream. There's a fake you in the dream, but it's not you. You're not in the dream. This is the dream. Nothing's in it. Okay? There is one consciousness dreaming the dream. You are that. You are not the figure in your dream. Jesus says the fear was kept in place because he did not realize that he is the author of the dream and not the figure in the dream. Consciousness is the dreamer of the dream. You. But because you think the dream character's thoughts are yours, because you think the insane voice talking to itself and the thoughts in your mind are you think you're in the dream, but you're not. Okay? You're not in the dream. The dreamer of the dream is never a character in the dream. Doesn't matter who gets run over by a tractor. Nothing happens. Okay. Lesson number one. Nothing I see means anything. How could what happens in a dream mean anything? Nothing I see means anything. And lesson number four. These thoughts do not mean anything. Because you're not a separate self. You're not a body. You are not in your own dream. And you're not having separate self thoughts because there's no such thing as a separate self. There's no such thing as private thoughts. I have no private thoughts, but it's only private thoughts of which I'm aware. What can they mean? They mean nothing. They don't exist. I really want you to understand something today. None of the thinking in your mind is you. And your only problem is that you think it is. Awakening is realizing you're not the thinking mind. That's an awakening. The self you made, that's not the Son of God. That doesn't exist. The insane voice talking to itself. Okay. It's manufactured out of thinking. Okay. So the prison is made out of thoughts. The prison is made out of thinking. And you cannot think your way out of hell. You can only forgive your way out of hell. Now, again, the ego hears this and says, oh, I got to sort out these judgments. Got to get rid of these judgments. Got to stop judging people. No, that's not you. That's not you. That's a big cloud of ego thought system. And it's not you. Let's take another quote. Therefore, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. So guess what? This is a dream about a world, and there's dream characters in the world, and the dream characters are having judgments and thoughts and feelings and dramas and stories, okay? And the mistake is I go, oh, I, the dream figure, who am separate from and other than the dream, I need to sort out my judgments. Need to fix my judgments, need to get them sorted. No, no, no. Everyone thinks they're the dream figure and they need to stop judging. Everyone's failing miserably. You have to fail. That can't work. The dream figure, all there is to the dream figure is judgment, at least to the dream figure identity. You can't fix that. So that's not how we do A Course in Miracles. It's much simpler than that. Thank God. Imagine trying to stop yourself judging. People try and hate themselves because they can't. So I know I'm making light of this, but I just want to drive this home as much as I can. What you think you are isn't what you are. The identity that's made out of thinking isn't you. That's the prison. That's hell. That's what you need to awaken from. So the Course is saying to us, no, 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 no. Don't be trying to stop the judgments in your mind as though that's you. Course in Miracles is saying, listen, the world is happening. It's a dream. It doesn't mean anything. And there's an insane voice talking to itself in your mind that pretends to be you. And it's putting a meaning on everything that has no meaning. And all you have to do is don't put a meaning on that. And you'll awaken. That's how simple A Course in Miracles is. Forgiveness is looking at the ego without judgment. What does that mean? That means by putting no label on what the ego is doing. We're going to go. Oh, wait. The world is happening. That's what's apparently happening. Seek not to change the world. An ego thought system is happening in your mind. Seek not to change the world. Sin, guilt, and fear is raging in your mind. Seek not to change the world. So all you do is you don't put any meaning on any of it. And you'll awaken. Now you know why Jesus is saying you're bound to think this is personally insulting. How little you do compared to what the Holy Spirit will do. Let's take another quote. You perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals. That's the insane voice talking to itself, having thoughts, thinking about things, trying to be a holy, insane voice talking to itself. And Jesus says these goals have nothing to do with your own best interests because the ego is not you. This false identification makes you incapable of understanding what anything is for. There you go. See all that thinking going on? That's not you. See all the goals. Oh, I could just be happy if, and I would have been happy if only. That's not you. You don't have to fix that. You have to realize it's not you. The ego is not you. The imagined separate self-identity that runs on an imaginary ego thought system, it's not you. That's what sleep is. Sleep is that you think you're the thinker of the ego thought system. That's the sleep. What's awakening? Realizing it's not you. Not fixing it. Everyone's trying to fix it. No. No. No, you have to judge not, and you'll awaken. One of the very, very, very important principles of A Course in Miracles is I do not know what anything is for. I do not know what anything means. And the ego reads that and thinks, oh, I don't know what it means at the moment, but the Holy Spirit's going to tell me what it means. And it could be like to help someone out, could be to like make things go in a certain way in life. It could be, that's not right. That's not true. No, that's the ego that thinks it knows what everything means. In a dream where nothing means anything. If you think you know what anything means, you're asleep. When you realize you don't know what anything means, you're awake because it doesn't mean anything. The I don't know mind is the awakened mind. The I don't know what anything means you're with the Holy Spirit. The I know what this means you're with the ego. Only the ego thinks it knows what things mean when they don't mean anything. What you want is the I don't know mind. Now you're with the Holy Spirit. That's the holy instant. Now you're above the battleground. I don't know what it means. Wow. That's the miracle. That's your holy instant right now. The minute you say, I don't know what anything means, and know it, that's the holy instant. It doesn't get any better than that. Because now you know. You're dreaming. See, that doesn't get replaced with anything. I don't know doesn't get replaced with, oh, here you go, insane voice talking to yourself. This is the new meaning I want you to have. No, 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 no. Nothing means anything. Now you're above the battleground. Now you're in the cinema with Jesus. Now it's the holy instant. Now you are the quiet center. Oh, but I think this. Now you're not the quiet center. Now you've jumped back into the movie and left Jesus eating his popcorn on his own. Nothing means anything. That's the quiet center. That's the stately calm. That's how simple salvation is. It's a dream of judgment. How can God's Son awaken from the dream? It's a dream of judgment. So must he judge not and he'll awaken. You're having a dream. Stop saying it means something. Doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. Nothing means anything. Now you're awake in the dream. Now you're awake. The I don't know mind. That's the right mind. The wrong mind is the I know mind. The right mind is the I don't know mind. So simple. So that's the holy instant. That's how you do forgiveness. And that's how you awaken from the dream of death that you're having. You abide as the I don't know mind. Don't worry about what the insane voice talking to itself in your mind is doing. That's not you. Don't worry what the sin, guilt, and fear is like ranting and raving, and there's depression and there's anxiety. Cool. All you do say is, I don't know what that means, so I can't put a label on it. Now he judges not, and he will awaken. So simple. But here's what everyone does. Oh my God, there's so much sin, guilt, and fear coming up in my mind. I'm so upset. What do I do? What's my forgiveness formula? How am I, the insane voice talking to itself, going to sort this out? Oh, why is it not working? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Jesus, take it off me, take it off me, take it off me. No. Do you see all that? All you say is, that doesn't mean anything. I don't know what that means. Why do I not know what it means? Because it doesn't mean anything. But when I say, I don't know what that means, I don't know what that's for. Something else is here. A deep stillness, a silence, something utterly impersonal and yet incredibly intimate. Something that isn't the insane voice talking to itself. This is you, the quiet center. This is you. I am. Do it now. Everything I'm saying, just go, I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean anything. And all the thoughts in your mind and the arguments, and I can't believe he said that. Just, it doesn't mean anything. Don't put a label on it. Let the insane voice rant and rave and just go, I don't know what it is, so I can't put a label on it. Let it do what it's doing. And all the feelings, and you go, I don't know what they're for. So I can't put a label on them. So what if the world is happening and it means nothing? And what if thoughts and feelings are happening and they don't mean anything? And what if I have no ability to put a label on any of it? What if everything is just what's apparently happening and I can't label it because I don't know what it means? So I can't put a label on it and it's just happening. Now, what's present in your mind? The minute you say, I don't know what any of that means, I am the light of the world, the nothing that is the truth of every illusory something in the dream, the Holy Spirit, the holy instant. See, the minute you say, the voice in my head is ranting and raving, and I don't know what that means, you're not the voice in your head anymore. Something else is here, utterly impersonal, but deeply intimate. Folks, that's forgiveness. You are, I am. You're not the insane voice talking to itself in your mind that makes it seem like you are a body in the world that's separate from the world and has thoughts of its own about the world and is trying to fix the thoughts about the world. No, 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 no. That whole thing is the mess. You are, I am. The body is not you. And the thoughts in your mind are not you or yours, and you're not thinking them. So Jesus is going, listen, there's nothing to do. Okay, let's take another quote. Let's really nail it down. Chapter 14, section 7, paragraph 6. The Holy Spirit asks of you but this. Now remember, you want to consider this personally insulting. All right. He's just started this and said, the Holy Spirit asks you but this. In other words, nothing but this. Bring to him every secret you've locked away from him. Open every door to him and bid him enter the darkness and lighten it away. At your request, he enters gladly. He brings the light to darkness if you make the darkness open to him. But what you hide, he cannot look upon. He sees for you. Now, in truth, you are the Holy Spirit, but you think you're a body and an insane voice talking to itself. All right. So, as long as you hold on to that delusion, it's helpful to anthropomorphize the Holy Spirit. Okay. He sees for you. And unless you look with him, he can't see. Why? Because he's you. The vision of Christ is not for him alone, but for him with you. Bring therefore all your dark and secret thoughts to him and look upon them with him. He holds the light and you the darkness. They cannot coexist when both of you together look upon them. His judgment must prevail, and he will give it to you as you join your perception to his. How would you join your perception to the Holy Spirit? You judge not. Now let's understand exactly what this is saying. I'm going about my life. The world is happening. I understand it doesn't mean anything. But there are emotions coming up. There are thoughts coming up that I'm a person, that I have a future that I need to worry about, and there's people could take that off me, and what if this goes wrong, and what if it goes right, and that's going to destroy my peace, and blah, 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 blah. The Holy Spirit asks only this of you. Seek not to change the world. Seek not to change the thoughts in your mind. Seek not to change the emotions. This is how you do forgiveness. The world is happening, it doesn't mean anything. Thoughts and feelings are happening, they don't mean anything. That's it. Now, you are the quiet center. You are one with the Holy Spirit. So simple. Why do we make it tricky? Because you think you really are a person, that you do need to worry about the future, that it's important what happens to your body, that you need to be concerned about that, that could take away your peace. But you see, that's the whole ego thought system. That has to go. If you ever want to have peace, if you ever want to realize that you're not in the dream. Forgiveness is about complete and total authenticity. The world is happening. It doesn't mean anything. There's an insane voice in my head that keeps saying it knows what everything is for. It keeps thinking it knows what everything means. um, and there's all kinds of awful thoughts going on. There's anxiety and there's fear and there's depression. Okay. And Jesus is going, yeah, now all you have to do is look at that and say, I don't know what that means. So there's a thought system of separateness and blah, 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 blah. Okay. And there's emotions and there's upset and there's anxiety. And oh my God, I feel like I could die. And Jesus is going, yeah. Now, here's all you're being told to do. You look at that with the Holy Spirit by allowing it to be there, not seeking to change the world, allowing everything, allow all things to be exactly as they are. And the minute you say, I don't know what any of this is for, you are one with the Holy Spirit, you are I am, and the Holy Spirit will begin dismantling the entire thought system. The entire thought system that says, I am a person, I'm a body, separateness is real, non-duality and God is murdered. Okay, there's sickness, there's death, there's the Holy Spirit will begin dismantling the entire thing. So here's your practice. Abide as I am. Okay. And you'll keep getting hooked into the addiction of thinking you are the one having thoughts, the insane ego thought system thoughts, and thinking it's you, the self that doesn't exist. Okay. And when that happens, you just go, oh, this doesn't mean anything. I don't know what these thoughts mean. I don't know what these feelings mean. It's what's happening. It's just what's apparently happening. There's a world happening. There's fear happening here. There's mad, crazy thoughts. Okay. I don't know what it means. Now you are the I don't know mind in the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit starts dissolving the whole thing until there's nothing left but I don't know. Until there's nothing left but the light of the world. Abide as I am and allow the Holy Spirit gently, lovingly, slowly, and gradually to undo the entire thought system. So I have a situation in my life. I'm all worried about it. Oh my God, I've done this thing. It could all go terribly wrong. Oh my God, why did I do it? What's everyone going to think? I don't know what any of that means. Now you're with the Holy Spirit. Oh, the insane voice talking to it is still it's still going. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Look what I did, and that's taking my piece off me. And what if this goes wrong? And blah. And you're like, I don't know what that means. There's all kinds of emotions and fear coming up, and you're like, I don't know what that means. That's what's happening. Seek not to change the world. Change your mind about it. I don't know what it means. You are with the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit does everything else. That's it. Why do we get stuck with forgiveness? Why do we think this is complicated and difficult? Because we keep thinking we are the insane voice talking to itself. And that's easily solved. Whatever thoughts are saying, you go, I don't know what they mean. I don't know what they mean, so I can't label them. See, the problem is everyone understands, oh, I shouldn't judge my ego. So I'm looking at my ego and it's very bad, but I need to be here not judging it. There's your trap. There's no forgiveness there. That's judgment. You're nowhere near the Holy Spirit. You're an ego trying to solve the problem of itself and its misery. You've decided the ego is bad. You've decided the ego shouldn't be here. You've decided this is not how it should be. This is not how things should be happening. Things should be happening differently. That's not forgiveness. That's judgment. It won't work. Or you've decided, oh, my ego, it's all coming up and it's all very bad. And I need to hand it over to the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, take it off me, take it off me, take it off me. That's judgment. This is bad. This shouldn't be happening. I need it taken off me. That's judgment, not forgiveness. If there is terror going on inside of you, that's what's apparently happening. But you don't know what it means. If you have circular thoughts and they're keeping you awake and you, oh my God, need a relief from this, then you just go, oh, hang on. I don't know what that means. Now you're the I don't know mind. That means you're right-minded because nothing in a dream means anything. Now you are judging not and you will awaken. What will you awaken from? Thinking you're the voice talking to itself in your mind that's miserable. Thinking you're a body and a person and a separate self and a world and blah, 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 blah. And that, okay, you'll awaken from that because it's all made out of thoughts. And what will you awaken to? The silence, the stillness, because that's who you are. Prison's made out of thoughts. It's made out of judgment. That's why Jesus says, it's a dream of judgment. The prison is made out of thinking. It's made out of labels. And the minute you go, this means this, you're lost. And the minute you say, I don't know what this means, you're with the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit does everything else. I don't care what the insane voice talking to itself is saying about, oh, you're a person and you're in the world and people and blah, 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 blah. You're just going, I don't know what that means. Now you're with the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will take care of the whole thing. Gently, slowly. You're not going to be hurled into reality before you're ready. Okay. But that's your release. You never were the insane voice talking to itself in your mind that thinks it's a person. That was an illusion created by thoughts. You cannot think your way out of hell. You can only forgive your way out of hell. So must he judge not, and he will be awakened. That's what you do. If you have anxiety, that's what's happening. But you don't know what it means. Now you're with the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit will undo the entire thought system that's birthing that anxiety. Slowly, gently, at a pace that you're ready for. But all you have to do is abide as the quiet center. I don't know what anything is for. Silence. Even though the mind is racing and the emotions are flying, I don't know what this is for. You are the right mind aware of the wrong mind. The darkness is being brought to the light of I don't know. The illusion, the insane voice talking to itself, is being brought to the truth of I don't know. That's it. You got to bear in mind the insane voice talking to itself and ranting and raving about my life and my past and my future. That's not you. And it doesn't mean anything. And if you allow all that to happen as it happens, total authenticity, you're not trying to fix states. You're not trying to fix thoughts. Okay. You're on the wrong track if you're doing that. The world is happening. So be it. Anger is happening. So be it. Just don't put a label on it. Don't call it bad. Don't call it evil. Don't call it wrong. Don't call it broken. Don't call it needing to be fixed. Don't call it this needs to change. That's judgment, not forgiveness. Bring to the Holy Spirit every secret you've locked away from him. Don't try and change anything. Bring it to I don't know, and it will be undone automatically. You don't do anything except return to I don't know what any of this means. Non-judgment. Don't try and fix the voice in your head. Stop saying it means something. Don't try and fix your anxiety or depression. Stop saying it means something and let the Holy Spirit take care of it. All you have to do is stay in the quiet center going, I don't know what any of it means. And as long as you're judging not putting a label onto what your ego is doing, the Holy Spirit's left to do the hard work. I don't know is the enlightened mind. That's the right mind. I don't know what anything means. That's forgiveness. And my mind's coming in going, oh my God, I'm behind on the course and I really need to sort this out. And then I go, oh, hang on, that doesn't mean anything. I don't know mind. Now I'm right-minded. I need do nothing. Oh, I need to figure out this. I'm not really sure. I don't really understand this part of the course. Oh, hang on. That doesn't mean anything. Silence. I don't know. I am. There's nothing to know here. That's why Jesus says it's personally insulting. Your intellect isn't required. Your opinions that you know what it means and your need to know what it means nothing. The prison is made out of thoughts. You can't think your way out. Jesus said to Helen, you still think your understanding makes a powerful contribution to the truth and makes it what it is. Actually, you don't need that at all. See everything your mind is doing? Just go, I don't know what that means. Pure consciousness, pure right-minded consciousness, pure awareness in the Holy Spirit. And whatever's in the wrong mind, whatever's going on with the emotions and the sin, guilt, and fear, that's all going to get undone as long as you say, I don't know what this means. That's your trap. Everyone is saying, oh my God, this means I'm a bad course student. I've done my forgiveness wrong. I've fallen again. Oh my God, I think I'm an ego. How do I fix this? Holy Spirit, take this off me. Take this off me. What's my forgiveness formula? Why is it not working? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? There's your trap. There's your flypaper. Okay. And do you see all of that? See all that? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Why is my forgiveness formula not working? Why is my anxiety still here? And all you have to do to join with the Holy Spirit is say, I don't know what any of that means. Doesn't mean anything. No label. Now he's judging not. And the Holy Spirit does the rest. How long is it going to take? That's none of your business. You just stay in the quiet center. Abide as I am and let everything that's not I am get taken care of by the Holy Spirit. That's it. Folks, that's the miracle. That's forgiveness. That's how simple it is. Stop trying to do anything. Let's get that quote again. So again, chapter 14. This is section 11, the test of truth. Do not be concerned about how you can learn a lesson so completely different from everything you have taught yourself. How would you know? Your part is very simple. You need only recognize that everything you learned you do not want. Ask to be taught and do not use your experiences to confirm what you have learned. When your peace is threatened or disturbed in any way, say to yourself, I do not know what anything, including this, means. And so I do not know how to respond to it. And I will not use my own past learning as the light to guide me now. Something is after happening in the world, doesn't mean anything. Oh my God, there's anger and pain and hurt and fear going on inside me. I don't know what that means. Okay. There's a voice in your head that thinks it knows what it means. That's your past learning. Oh, this happened to me when I was in school and someone did this to me and I can't believe they're doing it to me again. And Jesus is going, you don't want that. Everything that you've learned is wrong. Everything the insane voice talking to itself in your mind is saying is wrong. You don't want any of it. But we all sit as the insane voice going, these are the bits I'd like fixed in my insane voice. Then I think I can be a happy enough insane voice talking to itself. And Jesus is saying, no, you don't want any of it. I don't care what your mind's telling you. That's not it. All you have to do is come back to I am and the Holy Spirit by saying, see this crap show that's going on in my head? I don't know what it means. And I will not use my past learnings to deal with it now. Now the Holy Spirit's going to take care of it. Okay, but this is not about looking away. A Course in Miracles is about looking into the abyss of the misery of the ego thought system and not blinking and not looking away. That's what the quote was about. The Holy Spirit asks you but this. Make everything open to him. You have to look into the abyss, not blink, not look away. All your part is to look into the hell of the ego thought system and say, I'm not going to label this. That's all. You'll awaken. The Holy Spirit does everything else. You do nothing else. If you're angry, that's what's happening. But it doesn't mean anything. Now you're with the Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit can take care of it. If the insane voice talking to itself is on a rant and it won't shut up and it's circular thinking for 2 hours, all you have to remember is it doesn't mean anything because it's not you. It doesn't mean anything. I don't have to stop it. Don't try to stop it. Seek not to change the world. Judge not and you'll awaken. That's forgiveness. But you got to look into the abyss. Whatever is happening, that's what's happening, and it doesn't mean anything. Again, this is just saying, abide as I am. Abide in the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit does everything else. Now, you will go insane and think you're thinking and think you have opinions and stuff, and that you're the mind that has opinions on the truth and opinions on the silence and opinions on not knowing what anything means. You're like, I know what that means. Okay, and then you just go, oh no, hang on, that doesn't mean anything. You're abiding as I am again. That's it. This couldn't be simpler. Right, let's open it up for questions. Chris L., you had your hand up since the start. Take yourself off mute. The stage is yours.
Hey, thanks. It's funny. I've kind of been backed into A Course in Miracles. But lately, I've been sort of fighting against the realization of how terribly I'm failing at understanding, uh, you know, what kicked off my seeker chapter of life. I was in AA for a number of years and then had a lot of questions, and then some things happened where I got presented with a bunch of people who were talking about non-duality. Some of them awakened, some of them I've gotten to know pretty closely, and just this whole fire hose worth of methods and concepts, and even people speaking from clarity, speaking from their own interpretations and paths. And uh, I think I've just been trying to triangulate for years and years. I'm coming up against this place where I'm just like, I have no idea.
Good, you're there.
And yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And even today, it was like, you know, some of this stuff has been speaking to me in a way. I haven't been committed to A Course in Miracles, but I keep coming back to it. I keep looking. I'm grateful that I've somebody pointed me in your direction, because I'll jump on the Facebook group or I'll listen in sometimes. But I just took my dog walking and the head was doing its thing, and it's just like, seems like there's layers to this where it's like, oh, now I'm judging because I'm not doing this good enough. And you were talking about that earlier. So the head wants to go, oh, see, that's what this means then. That's
Yeah,
why
but
you're
you see,
going through
yeah,
all
but
this
can you
stuff.
see the beauty of this? Everything your head says you go, that doesn't mean anything.
Right. So meaning is judgment, right?
Pardon?
Meaning would equal judgment. I think some of the stuff that I was like kind of confused about the course with was just terminology, because I'm used to other stuff perhaps.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so
So,
when you're
of
talking
course,
about, so the first one is meaning, is there's nothing that means anything, right?
no, you
The
see, this
first
is a
lesson.
dream.
Right. And
So if you're dreaming and you're run over by a tractor, does that mean anything?
right.
Does that mean anything?
No.
It means nothing unless you don't know it's a dream.
Right.
Okay. Now in A Course in Miracles, we're told the world doesn't mean anything. It has no meaning. Okay, because it's an illusion. It's a projection. It's just images. They don't mean anything. Lesson number one, I do not, nothing I see means anything. Lesson number two, I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. So it has no meaning, but I've given it a meaning, even though it has no meaning. Okay, so what am I doing that with? Thoughts. Lesson number four, these thoughts don't mean anything. There's
And
freedom.
that's just based on judgment.
Yeah. So A Course in Miracles says um, purpose is meaning. Okay, so the first thing is that the world doesn't mean anything, the dream doesn't mean anything, but the ego has given it a purpose, which is to convince you that you're a separate self in a body in the world and a
Uh-huh.
thinker of private thoughts. That's the purpose that the ego has given to a world that means nothing, to a dream that means nothing. Okay, so the Holy Spirit gives it another purpose, and the purpose is it's only for forgiveness. It means nothing except do this process of forgiveness. So, see what's happening in the world? It doesn't mean anything except that you remind yourself it doesn't mean anything and that your thoughts and feelings about it doesn't mean anything. And you come back to me in the Holy Spirit, and I start healing everything in your mind about the ego thought system. So the world is for nothing apart from that. That's all the world is for. So in the Course, it says the real world is the state of mind where it's realized that the only purpose of the world is forgiveness. The only purpose is this healing of your mind where you remind yourself nothing means anything, but there is an insane voice talking to itself that pretends to be me, and sin, guilt, and fear flying inside of me about things that mean nothing. And I'm not going to put a label on that. I'm not going to judge that. And the Holy Spirit is going to undo that madness in me so I can
Right.
awaken.
So it's not even because I know that my first run in with the course, I was like, "What? I don't even think I know what they mean by forgiveness here." I mean, I was aware that I didn't know what that meant.
That's
I
all
was like,
forgiveness is. Stop putting a label on the ego.
"It's not pardoning, right? You're not,
No,
it's not just because that would be
no,
judgment.
no,
You
no,
would
no,
be
no, 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 no,
saying,
no, no, no. It's realizing, but it doesn't mean anything. See, here's the thing. Look at this. So into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. The tiny mad idea wasn't the problem. It was a tiny mad idea. No one laughed. Everyone made a big deal out of it. They called it sin. They called it mutiny. They called it murder. They said non-duality is dead. Duality rules. God was murdered. This is wicked. This is evil. This is sinful. I need to split it off. I need to pretend it's not part of me. I need to make up a world and hide in it in case God comes to kill me because this is a dreadful thing. So the course is going, here's how you finally laugh at the tiny mad idea of separateness. And all you do is there's a dream, there's a world happening, okay? And you just go, I don't know what it means. No labeling. And there's an insane movie character here in the movie, thinking he's a body, worried about saving himself, every man for himself. You know, if everyone else is innocent, I'm the guilty one. You know, if everyone else is guilty, I can be innocent. One or the other, kill or be killed. That's all going on there in the movie character. And all you do is you don't take that seriously either. You go, I don't know what that means. Now you're with the Holy Spirit. That's I am. That's the I don't know mind. That's I am. That's above the battleground. That's above thought. I don't know what anything means. Instant, holy instant, immediate. What's the unholy instant? When you think you know what it means. What's the holy instant when you realize, oh, that's right. I don't know what any of this means. And the Holy Spirit takes care of everything else. That's how simple this is. So the prison is thinking and thoughts. And this is what
"Yeah,
awakens
it's
you
like
from
I
prison.
noticed that." It's
Yeah.
and you talk about the world being a projection. It's aware that there's, I could be standing next to somebody that sees something completely different, and but there's like this regression that doesn't seem to end, where it's like, oh, okay, don't judge. Now I'm the guy that's not judging, and
Yeah,
now I'm
no,
the
that's
guy that's
just another
judging the guy that's
concept.
not judging.
Yeah, and that's just another judgment, which saying, oh, me judging is bad, and therefore
Yeah,
I need to behave. It's all judgment. See, it's so simple. All you say is, oh, look at that. That doesn't mean anything. That's it. Silence. You are the silence. The dream is that you are the noise in your head, but it doesn't mean anything.
pretty good job failing to shutting it up. So maybe I,
No, no, so that was your mistake. You
no, I
judged it.
know.
You're saying, oh no, this is bad. This needs to change. I need to get rid of these thoughts because they're bad. No, that's what's happening. The minute, see, once I am becomes deluded that it's I am this, once nothing becomes deluded that it's something, its suffering begins. That imaginary limitation is experienced as pain and inadequacy. And then the sole activity of the imaginary separate self begins seeking and resisting grievances and grasping special love and special hate in order to solve the problem of my inadequacy, my uselessness, my guilt, my self hatred, my self loathing. I need to solve the problem of myself. So you see, if you're in a situation going, oh, these thoughts in my mind are bad, you're still seeking and resisting. You're saying this is not how it should be, and this moment is not heaven, and I need to seek for a different moment where these thoughts are not here. See, that's the error. That's
It's the
still the
problem trying to
ego.
solve the problem.
Yes. The ego perpetuating itself by trying to get rid of itself. And all you have to say is, oh, see the problem? See all the thoughts about the problem and the feelings about the problem? None of that means anything. I don't know what any of that means. Wow. Instant I am. And the Holy Spirit will take care of all the thought system that's breeding that nonsense and confusion and pain. The whole thing, the whole belief. I'm a person, I'm a separate self, blah, 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 blah. And when there's an awakening, the individual is still here. It's still going to play its part in the atonement, but you realize there's no doer. I'm the witness to the dream. So without the I thought, decisions and actions happen perfectly fine all by themselves. They always did.
So,
There was never anyone thinking. There was never a separate self there to be thinking. So the dream goes on, but
yeah,
you're
and I've
awake in the
heard you
dream.
say, and then I'll stop it. I just
Yep.
heard you say before that you forgive yourself for being an ego in the dream.
Yeah, but and what that means is don't put a label on it. See, everyone thinks, oh, it's bad, so I should forgive it. See, you're on the wrong track straight away. All you do is look at your ego and look at your decision to be an ego, and you just go, and that doesn't mean anything. Oh my God, you're not an ego anymore. The minute you don't know what something means, you're not an ego anymore. The ego thinks it knows what everything means. The minute you look at the ego thinking it knows what this means and what the problem is, and Holy Spirit do this and Holy Spirit do that, and you go, none of that means anything. Oh
Yeah, I
my
mean, because if
God.
it's right or wrong, you're going to be hyper focused on whatever it's doing.
Yeah, but the minute you go, I don't know what that means, the I don't know mind, it doesn't matter to it whether it's being
Yeah.
crucified or whether it's being deified or whether it's being hungry or whether it's being fed. The I don't know mind is always constant. Everything else is a reality manufactured out of thoughts. See, there's just what's happening and it doesn't mean anything. But now there's a narrative. Okay, this world, you know the way in psychology, psychiatry, they have an ink blot test.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just open up this thing that means nothing. Okay, and they go, what do you see in this?
Hmm.
And everyone sees something different. That's what the
Hmm.
world is. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, but you'll decide what it means. But guess what? What you decided it means, that doesn't mean anything. Now you're not judging and you're going to awaken from the dream of death, from the dream that you're a body, from a dream that the insane voice talking to itself is you, from the idea that you're a separate self, because there's no separate self here. So thanks for that, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris number 2, take yourself off mute. Can you find your unmute button there? Oh,
Okay,
there you are.
sorry. So yeah, and by the way, thanks for after we talked Thursday, I've had a definite shift, and it's because I'm not doing anything. I'm not
Yep.
trying to fix anything.
Yeah, not putting any labels on anything.
It's not complicated.
Not
So
complicated.
my question was, I don't even know if it's a good question, but it's a question I've had for a long time. In forgiveness, am I forgiving the dream itself, or am I forgiving the dreamer?
So the first thing to understand is the dream doesn't actually need to be forgiven because it doesn't mean anything.
It's not real. Okay.
But there is a meaning in your mind. That's what needs to be forgiven. So actually, everything is forgiven, but you need to understand that the world doesn't mean anything. So whatever's going on in your mind, you're making that up. That's in your mind. It's not in the world. The word no cause in the world. It's a movie with no sound.
So I'm
Blurry.
forgiving my
It's a
ego
big
for
ink
thinking.
blot test, and you're seeing
Yeah,
it
I
what's in
love
your
that.
mind.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. So in terms of forgiveness, it's both. It's just looking at the world and going, I don't know what this means,
Yeah.
which is the enlightened right mind, because it doesn't mean anything. So once you go, I don't know what this means, that's perfect because there's no meaning. It's a dream. It's not for anything except forgiveness. Okay. So you look at the world and you go, I don't know what this means. But that doesn't stop the insane voice talking to itself in your mind, insisting, no, God is dead and non-duality is dead and duality is real and the world is real and I'm in the world and I'm body. Okay.
Which is why I'm always trying to tweak it, because I'm
No,
thinking
and
it's
that's the
supposed to go
mistake.
away
Yes.
right now,
So the
and it
tweaking,
didn't go away, so I didn't
yeah,
do it right.
no. See, the tweaking is sitting in the middle of that thought system going, I know what this thought system means, and that's the bit that's the
Yes,
problem. And if the Holy Spirit could just come into my thought system and remove that little chunk of guilt out of
just
there,
a
that
little
chunk
bit,
of
just a little,
fear,
yeah, yeah.
no, and the Holy
It-
Spirit is going, no, get the hell out of the
right,
whole
right.
thing. Say, I don't know what any of that means. Okay. And you're with me. And now that's all you do. And
Yeah,
I'll undo everything else. You don't have to worry
and
about it. You don't have to think
I've
about
had
it.
that experience
Yeah.
since Thursday more and more.
Yeah.
And I think like my brain is always, because I used to be so intense and so full of hate and rage,
Yeah.
that I think as long as my ego isn't like freaking out and trying to change the world in 1 second and screaming and yelling, then oh, it's okay. I'm just tweaking a little bit, but there's no levels. It's the same thing.
No. An illusion is an illusion is an illusion. There's no hierarchy
Yeah,
of illusions, and there's no,
yeah.
there's no hierarchy of sorry, there's no order of difficulty in miracles. So I mean,
Same way
the
in
reason for that
illusions.
is because none of it means anything. That's why there's no hierarchy of illusions.
Right,
That's why there's
right.
no, order of difficulty in miracles. You just look at it,
And
but it doesn't
I
mean
just want to
anything.
get in there and just, it seems so gentle, the tweaking.
Yes, but it's the ego very subtly
It's total
perpetuating
insanity.
itself by trying to fix itself and solve the problem of itself and be a holy
Yep,
ego. And all Jesus is saying is, no, 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 no. See, you don't want any of it. That you see,
yep,
none of it. All you do is you come back to the quiet center. Now, in the beginning, you're going to be in the quiet center, and I'm going to be, doing some work, and you're not going to know about it, and you're not going to feel it for a while. But I'm telling you now, if you practice this and you're just abiding as the quiet center, there's a peace going to build in your mind.
it's
And
been
there's a
3 days.
realization, yeah, there's a realization going to come in that, oh my God, the person I thought I was is made out of thoughts. There's no one there, but something is here. And what's here is the nothing. That is the truth of all the illusory somethings. The
Yes.
dreamer of the dream that's not a character in his dream. So that's the awakening, and that will happen. And we do nothing for it. See, because it's so simple. All it's saying is if you abide as I am, everything else will dissolve.
Yeah, you saying the Holy Spirit will do the work if I
Yeah.
just show up kind of as the witness and don't fiddle with it. Is
Once you stop putting labels on what your ego is doing,
Yep,
the Holy
that's a
Spirit
good
gets to do this in the right way, in the right time, which is gentle, which is not going to traumatize you by suddenly realizing there's no birds in here. It'll all happen
yeah.
at the rate that's right. So all you do is you abide as I am by being the I don't know mind, which instantly makes you one with the Holy Spirit. And then everything that the ego is doing, that can be dissolved once you're out of the way here, saying, I don't know what any of it means. And the Holy Spirit takes care of it. And that's it. That's how simple this is.
In the last time we talked, for some reason I couldn't understand anything,
Yeah.
and now I do. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Good. You see, it takes a while because the mind keeps coming in to defend itself, going, let me understand this. I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
have an
yeah.
opinion on this. And we just have to keep going.
Yep.
That doesn't mean anything.
All right, move on. There's a lot of people waiting.
No problem. Thanks, Chris.
I don't want to. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Susan Gradensky, take yourself off mute. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Keith. Hi, how are you?
Good.
I had a family event that I really didn't want to go to, but I was obligated to go. And that's fine. But it always brings up issues when I go to these things. And yesterday, I'm not going to go into all of the ego stuff, what I went through, but it was like what you were talking about. Oh, how can I take care of this? How can I fix this? Or this is the way I'm going to act now, or
Yes, that's the
whatever it
flypaper.
was. Right.
Yeah.
So last night I was like thinking, this is not right. I was asking for God to help me with this.
Mhm.
And there's got to be another way.
Yes.
And oh my God, I'm like stunned that you came on and talked about all today. I was like, here's my answer. This
Yeah,
is my answer.
it
You know,
really is.
I was
It's
like,
the answer to everything.
so I have to say, I I am let this go. It doesn't serve me.
No, don't even do that. Whatever's happening, that's what's happening. Okay.
Okay.
Ego isn't that there's sin, guilt, and fear coming up. That has to happen, right? For it to clear, right? So that's not ego. Ego is this shouldn't be happening. Ego is, oh, this can't be here. This shouldn't be here. I need to do something to get rid of it. What am I going to do to get rid of it? Holy Spirit, take. That's ego. See, the sole activity of the ego is seeking and resisting, special love and special hate, grasping and resistance. The ego is at war with the present moment, going, it should not be thus. You see? So the minute we even say, I just need to let this go, no, you're at war with the present moment. Whatever is going on, whatever is coming up to be healed, that's what's apparently happening. See, and you allow the whole thing, you forgive the whole thing, whatever thoughts are going on. Right, you're going, right now I'm feeling shame. That's what's apparently happening. And I will not put a label on it. Right now I'm feeling this awful anger. That's what's apparently happening. And I will not put a label on it because I don't know what it means. And the Holy Spirit takes care of it. See, this is not about letting anything go. This is not about trying to do something. This is a non-doing. You see, the truth of the ego is that it's a contraction. It's this big knot of resistance. So forgiveness isn't a doing, it's a letting go of the contraction. Whatever is happening is what's apparently happening, and I will not label it. That's forgiveness.
What did you say? You said, I am.
Well, what I'm saying is if you right now say to yourself, there's a world happening, I don't know what it means, and there's thoughts and feelings
I
going
don't know what it means.
yeah,
That's what it was.
thoughts and feelings going on, and I don't know what they mean either. What's in your mind now if you don't know anything?
Nothing.
Are you separate from the nothing? What's it like to be nothing?
Peaceful.
Yeah. That's the quiet center.
Yeah.
There's not even anyone in the quiet center. There's nobody in the nothing. There's only nothing. Again, the world's happening.
Yesterday,
You don't know what it
I
means.
felt,
Go ahead.
yesterday I was in chaos.
Yeah, but you see,
Chaos.
and you were in the middle of the chaos going, I know what the problem is. And if the Holy Spirit could just do this, if I could just do this, then we could tweak the whole thing. And all you ever had to say was, oh, I don't know what any of this means. There you are in the quiet, as the quiet center, as nothing. And the Holy Spirit can start dealing with all the issues that are coming up and the whole thought system that's breeding it. See how simple this is?
Yeah. It's
Do
way too simple.
Yeah. Way too simple for the mind, the ego, because the mind's going, hang on, I got to be involved in this or I'm going to die. I won't exist anymore. But it doesn't exist anyway.
Right.
There's just I am.
Is it all like just nonsense?
Yeah.
Because that's what it
Yeah,
feels
yeah,
like
yeah,
to
yeah.
me.
It's nonsense because God wasn't murdered, because non-duality didn't end, because duality never started, because there's no such thing as separate selves, because there's no such thing as sin, guilt, and fear. So the whole thing is nonsense, but it's not evil. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's not a problem. That's judgment. The whole thing is nonsense and it doesn't mean anything. That's the undoing of the tiny mad idea. The problem with the tiny mad idea is we said it means something. But it's a world of judgment. It's a dream of judgment. So must he judge not, and he will awaken. All you have to do is look at the tiny mad idea of a world that's not heaven. Look at the tiny mad idea of a separate self that could exist in contravention of God's oneness. And don't say it means something. and you'll awaken. And
And
that's
go along with whatever you're doing, right? Like go along, like just
don't
go
fight
along.
anything. Don't fight anything. Everything is what's apparently happening. And your job is to say, I don't know what it means. That's
Okay.
forgiveness. That's forgiveness. Yeah. See, the mind
It sounds
gets
more sane.
sounds more insane. I was just going
Sounds
to
more
say the mind gets a hold of this and goes, hang on a minute. That means everything is worthless. That's like depression. That's like apathy. That's like there's no good left in life anymore. And that's when you have to go, oh, and that doesn't mean anything. And all that's left is peace. All that's left is I am. All that's left is the right mind as a non-judgmental witness to the tiny mad idea as it dissolves. See, the minute I think I'm something, my suffering begins, and I don't know I'm nothing. And if I don't know I'm nothing, I don't know I'm everything. Okay, so separateness is an illusion. But so I need to look at, oh, I think I'm this, and I think I'm that, and I think I'm a body, and then I go, oh, none of that means anything. Back to the nothing of the quiet center, the stately calm, the silence, the pure I am. And what I am is seen to be the truth of all the world. It's the nothing that's holy. The something isn't holy or unholy, it's unreal. There's no such thing as some things. There's just the nothing, the holy nothing, the full emptiness that's appearing as the illusion, which means nothing, but it's still the full emptiness. You know, and the emptiness is just the
so
absence of the insane voice talking to itself, or at least realize
so we
it's not you.
just we
Yeah.
just say uh I I know I don't know what this means. Let it go. Like it, it's out of the mind and God takes care of that for us.
Well, there's no us. Okay. You see, look at
There's
okay, right. So you have all these ideas in your mind, and you're trying to figure it out, and there's all these emotions going on, and you're trying to make sure you get it right. Now, what if none of that means anything? What if you have no idea to put a label on any of that? What's here now?
That's just chaos in the mind when you're doing that,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
I'm asking you now to just say, and it doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to put a label. You see, you've put a label on it. You've judged it. You've said that's chaos. You see, that's not forgiveness. That's judgment.
Okay.
So whatever's going on in your mind, what if you didn't put any label on it? What if you didn't know what it means, and therefore you have no ability to put a label on it? What's here now in this moment?
Nothing.
Are you separate from the nothing?
Yes.
You're separate from the nothing?
Well, the nothing is nothing.
Exactly. Are you separate from that?
No.
Only thoughts make it seem like you are something
Don't need to
other
tell.
than the nothing.
Right.
So thoughts are happening going, oh, I don't like the thoughts of being nothing. I don't think that sounds too hot. I don't think that sounds too cool. I don't like the thoughts. Now, what if that doesn't mean anything? What's here now?
Well, if the thoughts aren't going everywhere, then it's just peace.
And what's the problem with peace?
Nothing.
Do you need anything
That's
here in this piece?
beautiful.
Do you need anything here in this piece?
No.
Is there any guilt here? Is there any lack here?
No.
Is there any outer edge to it or boundary or limitation to it?
No.
Abide here, and everything else will dissolve. That's A Course in Miracles. That's your miracle. That's forgiveness. Nothing else is true. Nothing else means anything. The only purpose of the world, and indeed the only purpose of the thoughts and feelings, is that you keep coming back here. That it bring you back to your mind to say, I don't know what any of it means, and behold the quiet center. And everything else can dissolve. That's it. That's how you awaken. Because there's no problem here. This quiet center is the same if I'm homeless or living in a mansion, if I'm being crucified or being turned into a king. The quiet center is always the same. I just come back here. And the whole thought system that says, oh no, I need this and I can't have this happen and this won't work and I have to have an attachment to this. Once I come back here, all that falls away. I don't have to do anything with it. All I have to do is look on the ego and go, I don't know what that means. And this identity becomes cemented and everything else begins dissolved until there's just the quiet center.
I get that.
Yeah. Until I finally realize we but see the journey from the point at which it ended, looking back, imagining we make it once again, until I realize I'm not in the movie. I am what is witness to a movie that means nothing, and I'm not in it.
I like that.
Good. That's what this is going. So you just abide as I am. So each time you have all this big cloud and it's like, oh my God, and I know what the problem is and I need to, and then you just go, oh, hang on, I don't know what anything means. Perfect. That's the I don't know mind. Now the Holy Spirit can do the work. You just abide in the peace here. No matter what your voice is screaming in your head, no matter what emotions of anxiety or fear are going on, you just refuse to put a label on it and say that it's bad, or that it's a problem, or that it needs to go, or that it's chaos. All you say is, but it doesn't mean anything. Once you say it doesn't mean anything, that's where all the power of the universe is. That's the light of the world. That's the power in non-judgment. That's so must he judge not and he'll awaken. That's how simple this is. So thanks a million for that. Bonnie, I think you'd be next.
Hi. Wow, this was amazing. And yeah, I guess the ego in me does rebel a little bit as to how simple this is, but
Yeah, but
I
just
had a
look at
question.
see all that rebellion that your ego is doing. What if you can't put a label on that?
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything.
Yeah.
So, but I do have a question, and I think you have answered it, but I just want some clarity. And so there really always is, the right mind really always is present. And at times it will, maybe like I'm thinking about Eckhart Tolle and Byron Katie and how, the state that they were in before they had their awakening was just, profound unease, to put it mildly. And so at some point, what I am grateful for is the realization that in a moment of intense struggle or suffering, there is that part of the mind, the right mind, that can like jump in and say, because it has to be the right mind that says it, right? That this doesn't mean anything.
No.
Because
The
when
right
you first
mind,
started
no.
talking, I got a little confused. I was
Yeah,
thinking
no. The
that
right
my
mind is,
ego had to
yeah,
say,
no,
this
no. You see,
doesn't mean anything.
the right mind is not saying anything.
Okay.
The right
So
mind
who
is
has
all,
who has the recognition? I mean, there's an intervention, there's a recognition that's like, ah, an intervention, this doesn't mean anything. Is that the ego who, or the figure in the dream, that all of a sudden kind of goes, oh, this doesn't mean anything? Or is it another element of our mind that maybe I'm making this too confusing, but what I love is I just got from this sharing that you did today that this is a pivot point, that this you know, recognition, this intervention to just jump into the hell that's going on, the insanity, and say, whoa, this doesn't mean anything. That because I have struggled with a pivot point in the forgiveness process, like, how do I really kind of fall back? How do I do that? And you've given that to me today, just with this, simple statement. This doesn't mean anything. It's a pivot point and a mechanism that allows me to fall back. And that's enough. I mean, I don't really need to intellectualize it too much, but I'm just wondering, like, when that thought comes in, this doesn't mean anything, that doesn't stop the figure in the dream from, being insane or whacking out. It's just, it's a mechanism for allowing me to look at the figure in the dream doing its thing without judging it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the mind is split. You have a wrong mind and a right mind, which are both always concurrently present. You see? So there's an insane voice talking to itself that thinks it knows what everything means. And that whole thought system is the cause of pain, the identification with it. But you equally have a right mind that's simply looking at a world that doesn't mean anything. And that's simply looking at thoughts and feelings happening that don't mean anything. So your right mind's always doing that. So this is where people will argue and go, oh, if you surrender, it's the ego that's surrendering. No, it's the recognition that your right mind is already a surrendered, open, non-resistant, non-judgmental space. It's just that recognition that that's who you are in the Holy Spirit.
And
So,
who recognizes it? Not the figure in the dream at all.
well, remember, they're both concurrent in your mind. They're always both there. Now, so it's one or the other. Consciousness is either wrong-minded, thinking it is Bonnie, the insane voice talking to itself that thinks it knows what everything is means, and it's a body and it has a past and a future. But then there's also your right mind, which is looking at all of that, going, none of that means anything, because it's an illusion. Both are always there. So the consciousness is either wrong-minded or right-minded. It can't be neither. There's no such thing as consciousness going, will I be Bonnie, the insane voice talking to itself, or will I be the non-judgmental awareness? That doesn't exist. There's only, I think I'm the insane voice talking to itself, or I am what is a non-judgmental, open, surrendered space to whatever is.
Yeah, I'm reminded of what Byron Katie's in her process, the work. She says stress, like being upset, is like an alarm clock, that like a wake-up call, and then that brings you to an inquiry process. And of course, the first question is, whatever you think is upsetting you, whatever meaning you've given to it, is it true? And then of course, the ego will want to say yes, 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 or debate. But the second question is, can you absolutely know it's true? And to me, that's sort of the place where the Course and Byron Katie kind of come
No, I think
together.
they complement each other beautifully, because
Yeah,
they're
it's
both
like
bringing
the
you back.
second question is, can you really know anything? Can you really know it's true? Is this doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's the awareness of pain, and that I'm not at peace, and that I want to be at peace. I think that would bring a person to the point, not a person, but the mind to the point of saying, this
It's
doesn't
much
mean
more
anything.
important to want the truth. See,
Exactly.
there's a problem with wanting peace because it says There's something wrong with the present moment. And once you do that, that's the ego. That's the ego's special love and special hate, seeking
Yeah.
and resisting, trying to solve the problem of itself. This is much more about wanting the truth than wanting a band-aid. See,
Right.
the ego wants a band-aid. So what this is much more about complete and total authenticity, which says the world is happening. That's what's happening. Anger is happening. Pain is happening. Shame and self-hatred is happening. I'm not going to put a label on any of this. So this can be undone, and I will not interfere.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you, Bonnie, for that. Lana.
Hello, Keith and everybody. I am in the weeds right now. I'm in the flypaper, and I feel like this is a quick question. I feel like I'm just giving lip service to the Holy Spirit when I say, and this is a thought, I don't know what this is for. You know, I'm having the ruminating, obsessive thoughts about something that happened in my family. And it was on Friday night, and I screwed up. I chose the separation instead of the atonement. I always do that because, and this is another thought, I realize that I'm, scared of intimacy. So I self-sabotaged. So I'm going on and on about this. And then I'll say, because I'm here, I don't know what this is for. I don't know what anything is for. I'll say that. And then I'm right back in the weeds.
No. See, the problem, and this is the problem, this is a lovely question, because this is the problem everyone needs to realize. See, what Lana is saying is, I'll say, I don't know what everything is for, but then I'm going to go back to saying, I know what it's for. Okay. And why is it not working? Okay. You see, here's the thing. You were telling me about what happened on Friday night. Now, what happened on Friday night is just what apparently happened. But you were saying, I know what that means. That means I have issues with intimacy. I always do this self-sabotage. See, you're going, I know what this means. Okay, so that's why you're in the flypaper. See, you have to understand that that event happened and you don't know what it means because it doesn't mean anything except that you do the process I'm talking about. That's the only meaning it has. You're saying, oh, it means this, and it means that. It means I'm a bad person, means I'm a wounded person, means I have intimacy issues, it means I messed up the course, means I'm in the weeds. See, you're trying to solve the problem with the ego thought system.
Yes.
You're saying, I'm going to sit in this thought system and I want it to make sense. But the Holy Spirit's going out, come out of the whole thing. No, don't sit in there. No, the whole thing is the problem. All right. The very fact you think you are a someone with intimacy issues, that's the problem. There's no one there. See,
Yeah.
it's the entire thought system of separateness that's the issue. But this is what we all do. We go, no, 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 I know what it means. I have these issues, and it's because of what happened back then. And the Holy Spirit's going, no, it's not. It doesn't mean anything. Just stop putting a label on it. You're with me. I'll take care of it. Now, that does not mean the voice in your head is going to stop running through permutations. But each time it does, you come back to the Holy Spirit by going, I don't know what that thought means.
So even if you have to do that constantly,
No, but that's your whole day. That's my whole day.
okay.
That's my whole day. My whole day is abide as I am. I don't know what anything means. There's all these thoughts will come up about a separate set. There's going to be anger. I have to look at that. That's the abyss I must gaze at and not blink and take my eyes off so the Holy Spirit can undo it for me. I'm not in the business of going through my day going, oh, I'm angry. I need to get rid of the anger. No, my day is anger is here. Shame is here. That's what's apparently happening.
So my mistake is I'm not allowing it to happen.
See,
I'm
you're trying
supposed to
to fix
allow.
it. So the very fact
Yes.
that you're trying to fix it means you've judged it. You've said, this is not what should be happening. That's the
Right.
that's the ego. So you can't access the Holy Spirit from that. Once you go, this is a problem. I need to fix this. This needs to go. I need to not have this going on in my mind. Once you've done that, you have divorced yourself from the Holy Spirit. And
Yes.
the minute you say the whole thing and all my thoughts about the thing and all the ways I think it should be fixed and what need, I'm gonna look at the whole thing and go, I don't know what any of that is for. Do that now, Lana. There is a big mess in your head that's going on. That's what's happening. Now, what if you have no ability to put a label on that?
It seems far-fetched
No, no,
because
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
like,
no, no. Yeah, because you're seeing labeling in your mind. Now, all you have to do is look at that and go, and those labels don't mean anything.
okay,
So what's here now?
silence.
Are you separate from the silence?
No, not.
What is it like to be silence?
Well, I can feel the thoughts trying to pop back
No,
in.
don't try and stop them. You just have to say, you
Okay.
just have to realize they don't mean anything. Don't do anything with them. That's not your job. That's the Holy Spirit's job. What's it like to be silence as the thoughts rage?
Well, it's very peaceful, which is my only goal. The
Well, if
peace
you're
of God.
already here, then stop thinking you've any goals. This is it. Abide here. Let the Holy Spirit take care of the whole thought system that I'm a person and I have this and I have that and I have the other. That's not your job. Your job is to abide in the peace. Peace is available now, here. You're it. Let the Holy Spirit deal with the rest. Your only job is to say, I will not put a label on it. I will not call it bad. This is about
Okay.
authenticity. Right now, shame's happening. That's what's coming up. Your job is to let it be there without labeling it as bad or good. You just don't know what it means. And when you do that, you are the eye of the storm with the Holy Spirit. You are the quiet center. Peace is already here, no matter what happens in the world, no matter what the insane voice shouts and roars about, no matter what the sin, guilt, and fear rages about in your body. Peace is already here. You abide here, and the Holy Spirit will take care of the storm. Slowly, gently, lovingly. That's all.
Yeah, I, it's so habituated.
It's so habituated to want for the ego to want to fix itself. And
Yes.
when you notice that, all you do is go, that fix doesn't mean anything. Only the peace means something, and the Holy Spirit will take care of the rest.
Okay. So
What's
it's not a one and done. It's all day long.
Well,
I'm going
yeah,
to.
no, look, there's a really ingrained ego thought system in your mind that says God was murdered, I did it. Non-duality is dead, separateness is real. There's a world here, it's real. I'm a body that's in the world. I'm lacking and needing and wanting, and I need to seek and resist, and I need to fight, and I need to worry about stuff, and I need to take care of myself as a physical entity in the world. Okay, and none of that's true. So that's going to have to be on. Now, that's why Jesus says, fear not that you will be abruptly lifted up and hurled into reality where you realize this whole thing's made up. Okay. A quick fix wouldn't necessarily be a kind fix. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what you need to do is you need to trust that if you just abide in the peace that's always here, if you say, I don't know what this means, even in the middle of the storm of madness, I don't know what any of this storm means. The Holy Spirit will take care of it in the appropriate way, in the appropriate time. Don't be in the middle of the storm going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Or you're not in the middle of the storm. You're back in it. You're saying, I know what this means. It's bad and it needs to be fixed. So when you notice that, you just go, that doesn't mean anything. And you're back to the peace.
So I'm automatically back with the Holy Spirit. I don't have to,
The
because it
minute,
almost feels like disingenuous when I'm calling the Holy Spirit to take it off of me.
oh, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. That's not what this is about. This is not about
Yeah.
trying to fix anything or change anything, or this is about you looking into the abyss. There is pain happening because you think you're a separate self. All right. So, and you can't do anything about that. And you shouldn't do anything about that because it's not your job. Your job is to say, whatever's going on, I don't know what it means. The minute you do that, it's like a relay race. The Holy Spirit starts reinforcing the peace that you are and erasing everything else, but slowly, gradually. See, what you're saying is, oh, well, I have this upset that's going on. I just want it gone. But you see, even if it's gone in 5 minutes, then just tomorrow you're going to get pissed off with the milkman or the postman or the person in the shop or the taxi driver or the bus driver or the neighbor or something else is just going to get the projection of the upset that's in you onto you. So,
Yes.
so you see, it's nothing is solved. Instead, what you want to do is you want to look into the abyss. Look at this suffering in me. Look at this inadequacy in me. Look at the shame in me. See, and you're saying, and it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what it means. And now the Holy Spirit takes care of it. That's surrender. This is about total authenticity, total surrender. This is about not touching it. See, what resists is the ego. That's why, and what analyzes is the ego. That's why the Course says, the ego analyzes, the Holy Spirit accepts. This is what's happening. Shame is happening. Fear is happening. Loss is happening. Fear of abandonment is happening. The Holy Spirit accepts. And in the
Yeah.
acceptance, there can be the answer. There can be the healing.
So I feel the shame. I don't try to avoid the shame. I just feel it and say, I don't know what this is for.
Just don't put a label on it. Look, what happened? Look, as long as we think there's a mad part of us that thinks we're an ego or a separate self, there's going to be suffering. But what everyone does is they suffer about the suffering.
Yes.
Course in Miracles is saying, if you just make your peace with the suffering, the peace will dissolve the non-peace. But
Okay.
if you're not peaceful with the non-peace being there, there's nothing to dissolve it. There's only, Martin Luther King famously said, hate cannot stop hate. Only love can do that. Well, guess what? Non-peace with non-peace cannot stop non-peace. Only peace can do that. So how do I find peace in the midst of non-peace? I say, yes, there's non-peace happening, and I don't know what it means. Now there's peace. There's that space. There's that nothing that's present, even as the non-peace rages. And that's what dissolves the non-peace. But if you're not peaceful with the non-peace happening, there's nothing to dissolve it. So again, ego is not the fact that there's sin, guilt, and fear coming up to be healed. That's not ego. Ego is the one saying, this is bad. This shouldn't be happening. I need to fix it. It needs to change. It needs to be taken off me. Okay, that's ego.
Yeah.
No. But the Holy Spirit accepts. This is what's happening. And I refuse to judge it. I refuse to put a label on the ego. I refuse to say the tiny mad idea means something. And the Holy Spirit does the rest. But not like, oh, just this one incident. But the Holy Spirit is like healing the whole idea of I'm a separate self. I can be unhappy. My peace can be taken from me. I'm in the world. I am about the Holy Spirit's undoing the whole thing. Everything. So that, every non-peace is a total blessing. Because if I can just stay in the silence, the quiet center, even if it rages for a whole day or for 2 days, and I'm just in the quiet center until this passes, when it does, it will feel like a weight you didn't know you were carrying has come off your shoulders. And more peace will be available to you in your life than was previously accessible.
And the key is to say, I don't know what this is for.
Yeah, but it's not about saying anything. It's about genuinely looking at what your ego is doing and not putting a label on it. So this is not just, see, there's a trap here where the ego is raging and we're going, it doesn't mean anything, 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 it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
That's an affirmation. That's crap. Okay? That's still resistance. It's like, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad, but if I keep saying it doesn't mean anything, maybe it'll go away. So that's not forgiveness. That's a trap.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a huge trap. That's the big trap everyone falls into. They're going, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. It doesn't mean that, doesn't mean that, doesn't mean that, doesn't mean. No, 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 no. What if it's just what's happening? And what if it doesn't mean anything? The pain is there, the suffering is there, the self-hatred, the self-love, that's all there. But what if it doesn't mean anything? So it's these are not magic words, and this is not. It's so bad, these words will make it go away. It's so bad, these words will go away. It doesn't mean that, doesn't mean nothing. It's genuinely allowing it to be there without putting a label on it that says it's good or bad or right or wrong or broke or needs to be fixed or needs to be changed. It's like, just don't have thoughts about your thoughts. Don't
Okay.
suffer about your suffering.
Okay.
Just say, I don't have a label for it. And the Holy Spirit does the rest. You just abide in the peace that's available when you say, I don't know what it means. See, when we say, I don't know what anything means, that's instant peace. And the minute I go, I know what it means, that's the suffering.
I was just trying to fix the problem in my head as you were talking.
Yeah. So but you see, and all you have to do is notice that and go, that doesn't mean anything. Now you're letting the Holy Spirit look at that as well, because that's part of the problem. That's still the ego thought system, which says I am a body and this is how a body sorts it and this is how I can have peace and this is how I can keep the non-peace away from me. See, that's what jumped in there and you're going, I don't know what that means either. Now you're handing that to the Holy Spirit going, include that in the cleanse.
Okay, thank you so much, Keith.
Pleasure, Lana. QDS. You can take yourself off mute. Okay, QDS, you don't have a picture on the screen, so I don't know whether you can hear me or not, but giving you the invitation, going once, going twice, take a QDS. No, obviously I put them to sleep. Okay, Eli, you had a nice handy number this week because we were doing all the hands. So no more hands for now, folks. Is there anything we need to address in the chat box before we wrap up, Eli?
There is only one in the
Good.
chat box. So let's go to that and then you can call it a day. So it's from Not Avatar Joyce. She says, how could the I don't know mind be comfortable? Referring to the get back to I don't know that you mentioned. I don't know what it means and just I don't know what it means and just that is okay? Question mark. It doesn't feel okay unless present moment awareness is not the I don't know mind. It's about not I'm tongue-tied over this word. It's ruminating, ruminating on a meaningless scene, which begs for me to give it meaning, but I don't give it, and there's an okayness in no meaning, I think. Boy, my reading's really gone for a shit.
Well, I'm not sure it was entirely clear. See, if you say, I don't really see how an I don't know mind could be peaceful, you're saying, I know what this means. That can't be peaceful. Now, what if that doesn't mean anything? What's here? There's just peace. Unless you go back into the ego thought system and go, but the situation is still there in my life and I really am a body and God is dead and non-duality is over and duality is the thing and how am I going to fix this and this is really going to affect my mental health and then you go, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Peace. Now the mind is still going to play its games pretending to be you, pretending you're a person and you have problems. Okay, and the sin, guilt, and fear is still there. And you go, I'm going to allow this. This is what's happening. Seek not to change the world. Judge not and I'll awaken. This is what's happening. And I'm not going to put a meaning on it. So I am present moment awareness. Well, when you say I don't know what anything means, there's nothing here except awareness. That would require identification with thoughts. In the absence of me having thoughts about my thoughts, there's just awareness. There's just I am. Doesn't mean the thoughts stop. Doesn't mean the idea is that, oh, you know, my family's going to do this and this is going to be a problem. And because I'm a person, this is going to be an issue and blah, blah, blah. That's all the ego thought system. That's not going to stop. You're not ready for that to stop. But you can say it, I don't know what it means. You can say, okay, there's the separate self that doesn't exist. And I'm just not going to decide that it means anything. And something's present that's not a separate self. Utterly impersonal, deeply intimate. It's the Holy Spirit. It's the quiet center. Does it mean the ego? Does it mean you stop believing you're a separate self? No. Leave that to the Holy Spirit. Abide here. Allow whatever's happening to happen. Refuse to fight anything. Let go the contraction. This is what's apparently happening. And I will not apply my past learnings to it. Even though they're shouting in my mind, they don't mean anything. The tiny mad idea doesn't mean anything. Now let the Holy Spirit unravel it. Gently, slowly, gradually. Abide here as the quiet center. Do nothing. That's forgiveness. But the mind jumps in going, but what's that going to do for my life and how that's going to make me feel better? And you just go, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Because it doesn't. Because that's not you. And as long as you think it is, you're going to suffer. And this is how you awaken from thinking that mess is you. Because it's not. You allow whatever's coming up to come up and you go, I refuse to apply my past learnings to this. As instructed. Even though they're shouting and roaring in my head, I'm going to go, that doesn't mean anything. I don't know what any of this means. Now all that's present is awareness. There's not even someone there saying, I am awareness. There's just awareness. See, I am awareness just requires more identification with thoughts. But what if even the thought, I am awareness, what if even that doesn't mean anything? Now there's just awareness. There's not even anyone there saying I'm awareness.
Yeah, you have.
You having chats with Sparkle?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, tell Sparkle it doesn't mean anything. She'd be grand. People listen all the time and they say, who's Sparkle? But Sparkle is a poodle, if you're listening, that my lovely co-host Eli has, who's adorable. Okay, QDS, I put you to sleep, but you've woken back up again. So if you want to take a quick question in before we finish, that's allowed. So take yourself off mute.
Hi, Kate. Thank you. Yeah, it's not my name. I don't know what happened, so I didn't know you were calling me. Sorry.
Ah, I see. Okay, fair enough. What's your question?
Yeah. So I have heard before you saying that in the time that you had your most awakening, you had very, very strong feelings of anxiety. And it's very common for me. And my question is like, how seems a little bit too difficult, almost impossible sometimes to be like all the time, like, oh, I don't know what it's for. I don't know what's for, because the feeling is permanent. The feeling is like here all the time, for some days, you know.
Oh yeah,
And
no, I
I
know what
feel
it's like.
like
I've been
So
there.
can you talk about?
Yeah. But you see, listen, the anxiety's there anyway. Now, all I'm saying is you don't have to be unpeaceful about it. The suffering is there. But what says you have to suffer about the suffering be there? That's only compounding your suffering. That's only doubling your suffering. See, what you've done, what you're saying is, oh, the anxiety here is, and it's so terrible. You see, you're wrong straight away because you've said it's terrible. That's not forgiveness, that's judgment. So what you want to look at is that anxiety is what's apparently happening. But you don't have to put a label on it and say it's awful. That's judgment. You can say, the anxiety is happening, but I'm not going to put a meaning on it. I don't know what it's for. What happens in your mind? What is your first name?
Juliana,
Juliana. Juliana, so when you say in your mind right now, I don't know what anything is for, what happens?
I feel peaceful.
So what's the problem? You abide as that peace, even as the anxiety rages, and the Holy Spirit will take care of it gently, slowly, gradually, because that anxiety is there because you think you're a body with a story, with a past and a future, right? That's the whole ego thought system. The Holy Spirit's not going to take that away overnight, okay? But what's the problem if you can say anxiety's happening and I don't know what it means, and you have peace, even as the anxiety rages? So there you go. You have peace anyway. And that will take care of the anxiety slowly, gradually, gently. But don't be thinking you can sit as the quiet center going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? That's, you're back judging. You're back saying the anxiety is terrible. I need to get rid of it. I need it gone. Okay. So you've just gone back into judgment. And when you notice that, you go, these judgments don't mean anything. You're back to peace. Now there's something there to dissolve the non-peace. But if you decide I'm going to be non-peaceful about the non-peace being here, what's going to dissolve it? See, it's there anyway. But the question is, will you double your suffering by resisting it? Or will you surrender to what is so the Holy Spirit can take care of it? Can you follow that?
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah, I got. Yeah, I think it's really the despair of has to be now, has to be today, tomorrow, that this has to end. Like
Yeah, but you see,
because
so the reason it won't end is because you're saying,
sometimes it's too much.
yeah. So you see, the reason it won't end is because you're saying, I know what this means. It means it's awful and it's going on too long and I need a way for it to go away. And my peace is that I need to get rid of it. So the reason it's still there is because you say, I know what it means. So forgiveness is where you go, well, that hasn't worked. Clearly, I don't know what it means. Clearly, this hasn't worked. So what about if you hand it over to the Holy Spirit by allowing it to be there and not fighting and suffering about it, and instead saying, I don't have to have suffering about the suffering. I don't have to put
Yeah,
a label on it.
I don't have to double the situation. Yeah.
Well, that's what you're doing. You're saying there's suffering here and I'm going to suffer about it. So again, suffering cannot undo suffering. Only surrender can undo suffering. So surrender the idea that you know what this is about and you know what should happen and this is how it needs to be. Just say, I don't know. And let the I don't know heal it. That's forgiveness. Because you are the I don't know mind. Because this is a dream and it doesn't mean anything. So the mind that thinks it knows, that's an illusion. That's not you. You think it's you. That's what you have to awaken from. So just look at that I know mind and say, I don't know what it means. And it'll be undone.
Okay.
Thanks a million, Julietta. So you know, don't be there going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? I did this for 4.5 months and I never once,
Thank
even,
you.
no problem. I never once even had the goal to get rid of anxiety. All I ever said was, there's anxiety here, but what does it have to do with the me that looks with Jesus? That's all I did. Now, I think it's a much more efficient way, even than the metaphor of the cinema, because everyone is like, oh, I'm the body, I'm the speaker, I'm the insane voice talking to itself in the cinema with Jesus. So instead, what I want you to do is just simply, what that metaphor is pointing to is that if you look on the ego without putting a label on it, what's looking isn't the ego. It's nothing. It's I am. And that's enough. If you abide as I am, everything that's not I am can be dissolved. And you'll awaken from the thought, from the dream that's made out of thoughts.
Yes.
All right. Thanks a million, Julieta. Guys, thanks a million for your attention. I hope you've got something useful out of it this week, and we'll catch up in the group and we'll do it all again next week. Have a great Sunday.
Thanks so much, Keith.
everybody.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you, Keith.